The History Committee is at it again to bring you an interview with another one of the pioneers of our society, Enrique Ruspini.
Who am I? Well, earlier today you heard Jim Keller say the CIS was on track to find Enrique Hector Ruspini. Well, I'm Jim Bezdek with the CIS History Committee. We have finally been able to get Enrique Ruspini here to sit down with us today and talk a little bit about the early days, his early involvement with the NNC, which morphed into the NNS and then the CIS. So let's just get right into it, Enrique. The first question on my template is an interesting one. What persuaded you to study engineering in the first place?
Well, actually, I started as a physicist because there was in Argentina, where I got my undergraduate degree, there was the big thing. I mean, the thing that would make important was to do nuclear physics. And Argentina had a strong nuclear physics program, and so I started as a student of physics, and then I switched into math. And I was one of the few people studying math that actually did numerical analysis, which was the only form really of applied math that was done at the moment. And so that's how I wound up, okay, little by little, drifting from physics to math, to applied math, and eventually to engineering.
Okay.
I started being the first guy doing working with doctors in Argentina. So when I came to do my PhD, I wrote to Bellman that had just gotten his a big grant from NIH, and I got big time into computer applications into medicine, and that's really how I did my how the drift happened. And also I work with economists because that's an interesting story on how I became interested in fuzzy sets. Since I started being labeled as the guy that did interdisciplinary work around the computer center, the first computer center in Argentina, I was working with a group of economists, and they were using simulation models of the Argentinian economy. But the output itself was 1,500 variables, a vector 1,500 variables long. And so they wanted to classify them in some way. And just by sheer accident, I was thinking about the problem and the difficulties involved in doing cluster analysis and reading work of taxonomies. I probably remember Jardine and Stipes and all those early works. And here I walk into the library of the Department of Mathematics, and here is an issue of information and control with the first paper of fuzzy sets by Sade. And I said, well, maybe this looks great among some other things, because then I can do optimization using continuous variable methods. So that's how fuzzy clustering started. I mean, just out of that application in Argentina.
You've mentioned several people already. One of the questions that we'd like to ask everyone is there a single person that you would name that influenced your decision to move into these technical areas?
Well, my father was a professor at the university, so he was a professor of qualitative chemistry. So science was floating in the air. But my mother in particular was quite keen on seeing me become a scientist. And she was always telling me about all these wonderful people, particularly physicists, that were getting Nobel Prizes and whatnot. I started to think that was probably my career. And
Ricky published the first paper on fuzzy clustering in 1969, so he must have been involved in it a little earlier than that in order to have the publication appear then. Do you want to say any more about that very early time?
Yeah, I think that in late '65 was when the paper of Sade and fuzzy sets came to Argentina. And we worked for a while, and I started, there was this process whereby we were trying to find a performance index that that worked, and at the same time could be used as a basis for optimization method. So I played with several of those, and then what happened in '66, when I was just about to come to the United States, and the paper was more or less written as the natural process of sending it. I mean, I was a kid without much expectations. I mean, perhaps if I had more experience, I would have said, no, I shouldn't send my first paper to information and control. But that was the saddest choice for his paper. So, to my great surprise, it got accepted without much problem.